Vanessa, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Sinata,
Here.
Commissioner Vogler.
Here. Takes two of us to have a quorum and conduct our business. We'll note that Commissioner Kennedy does remain on medical leave for the time being. We wish him well. We always have two opportunities for public comment. One will be in just a few moments, and then one prior to adjournment. We welcome your comments. We ask that they be related to county government matters. And if you can try to keep your time to around 5 minutes, we'd appreciate that. You're welcome to speak both times, one of the two times, or just if you're here just to listen, that's also fine. We, before I go any further, we have a number of items from CYS.
Those would be mine for
You're going
today.
to take those today? Okay. Usually Mike's here, and I was just concerned that.
Mike handles all the contracts and the resolutions for both JPO and CYS. So
Okay.
they'll look as though they're Mike's, but they're really mine.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you. Although we have another matter that's not related to juvenile probation. It's on the agenda for CYS, but I was hoping Mr. Bout might be here. Maybe he'll show up. So
We talked about the MOU.
yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't hear from him
I
either
didn't.
way. All right. Maybe, how about if we give him about 5 minutes, and if not, would you mind
Yeah.
giving him a call? Okay, thank you so much, because I'd really like to have him here to talk about it.
All right.
Thank you. We also set aside time at each meeting for row officer reports and comments, but right now, none of our row officers happen to be here, so that takes us to public comment. Are there any public comments at this time? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move along. Under fiscal and contractual, we have received some repository bids, all of which are located in the city of Newcastle. And the first one that we're going to consider, what number would that be?
103.
103. Thanks, Vanessa. The first bid has been made by JCM Property Holdings. The bid amount was $500 for parcel number 03-163800. And again, this is located in the city of Newcastle on Croton Avenue. However, on April 19, the Newcastle City Council voted to reject the bid based on the dilapidation of the property. On May 10, the Newcastle Area School Board also voted to reject the bid. It now comes before us, and we can take action at this time if you're so willing, Mr. Sonata.
Sure. I move that we reject the bid as well.
Okay, thank you. I will second your motion. And that way we'll be consistent with the other two taxing bodies. So the motion to reject the bid has been made and seconded. Any other discussion, Chris?
No.
Okay, thank you. We'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is proposed resolution 104. It's also a repository bid. This bid was made by the Biblical Church of Christ. The dollar amount is $501 for parcel on Pennsylvania Avenue in the city of Newcastle. The bid was rejected by Newcastle City Council on April 5. The reason for the rejection is that there was a higher bid submitted for the same parcel. On April 15, the Newcastle Area School Board also voted to reject this particular bid. By the way, the ID number is 05-058100. And this is proposed resolution 104. Mr. Sonata, I'll give you the opportunity to make a motion if you so desire.
I will have a question, Chairman.
Of course.
Yeah, I noticed it's been rejected because there was a higher bid.
Mhm.
under that process, because I've not heard that one before, why would they even consider it if there was a higher bid? Does each bid have to be acknowledged, or?
That would be my assumption, that because there was a formal bid made, the taxing body has to take action to either accept it or reject it. That'd be my assumption.
Okay, because I would just figure we would be voting on just the
I think that way,
highest bid.
but we would then have, there'd be a record of each board having taken action on every bid. That'd be my assumption.
Okay, all right, thank you. Well,
Certainly.
under that assumption, I'm going to make a motion that we reject the bid as well.
Thank you. I will second your motion. This is resolution 104. The motion has been made and seconded to reject this particular bid. If there are no other concerns, we'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Proposed resolution 105 is also a repository bid. And this is for the same parcel that we just voted on. Parcel number 05-058100, located on Pennsylvania Avenue in the city of Newcastle. The bid of $525 was made by Lorne Moskal, Moskal. Newcastle City Council accepted the bid on April 5, and the Newcastle Area School Board also accepted the bid on April 15 of this year. So it now comes before us in the form of Resolution 105. Would you care to make a motion, Mr. Sonata?
I move we accept the bid.
Thank you, and I will second your motion. Do you have any concerns?
No.
Thank you.
That answered the question from the previous one. It's the same property, it's just a higher bid.
Exactly. Thank you, sir. May we have a roll call, please?
Like she stepped out to get that.
Oh, I didn't even look over there. Well, let's take a brief recess while she does that. I should note while we're in recess, Mr. Vanasco is in the building today, but he did have another commitment upstairs, and we kind of left it that if we hit a snag and we needed him, we could run upstairs and get him. So if you're wondering why Joe is not here, that explains his absence. Oh.
John can answer. Let me see that.
I guess we're gonna have to table it. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for doing that, Vanessa. We just had a motion made by Commissioner Sonata, and I offered the second to approve or accept Resolution 105. So whenever you're ready, we could do a roll call.
Sorry. Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you so much.
Sure.
And then the final repository proposal, this would be proposed resolution 106. The bidder is First Energy Properties, Inc. The bid amount is $500. This is in the city of Newcastle. The parcel number is 07-012000. The property is located on North Cedar Street. And the Newcastle City Council accepted the bid on April 5. The Newcastle Area School District Board of Directors did likewise on April 15. So this is number 106. Mr. Sonata, if you're so willing.
Yes. I move that we accept resolution 106.
Thank you, sir, and I will second your motion. Any concerns, Chris? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. That takes care of our repository properties for this meeting. Next on the agenda are the warrant registers that we have received. They are dated May 17, May 21, May 23, they came from the controller's office. They're also referred to as the check reconciliation register. It's a listing of all the bills that have been paid by the controller's office. And they're available here if anybody wishes to look at them. Chris, I'll give you whatever time you need to look them over, and take your time, and whenever you're ready, if you wish to make a motion to accept these, that would be in order.
Look in order to me, I move that we accept the warrant resolutions.
Thank you, Chris. I will second your motion. Do you have any questions on any of the listings? Okay, thank you. We'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. The minutes of the, we met on Friday, May 17, and those minutes are in our packet. And again, Chris, take whatever time you might need to look them over, and then whenever you're ready, I could entertain a motion for us to, oh, forgive me. I noticed under adjournment, way at the back, I don't believe that's correct. It says that Mr. Kennedy moved for adjournment. So I'm assuming that would have been Mr. Sanada that made the motion for adjournment. Is that your recollection? You probably moved to adjourn.
Yeah.
So we'll make that Mr. Sanada moved and that I offered the second to adjourn the meeting. Sounds like our memories are all on the same page. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Chris, you were going to say something.
I had a chance to look at it and found the same question I had.
Oh, I didn't mean to jump in front of you.
No, I'm glad you spotted, so we're good. So I'm going to move, we accept the minutes from the prior meeting.
Thank you, and I will second your motion. Any other concerns? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. We received one document in terms of written communications, came in on May 14. It was accepted actually by the Planning Commission office and then forwarded up to us. This document comes from RAR Engineering Group of Newcastle. The purpose of the letter is to inform us of their intent to submit an approximately 38.9 acre non-coal surface mine permit. The permit area is being permitted to include limestone surface mining activities, as well as including mining beneath the water table. This application will be submitted to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. The project name is Allegheny Mineral Corporation Mine 67. The applicant is the Allegheny Mineral Corporation. The site location is in Slippery Rock Township of Lawrence County. And I specify that because, as you may know, there's also a Slippery Rock Township in Butler County, but this is specific to Lawrence County. The proposed permit area is located to the south of Route 422 and north of Old Route 422, up to approximately 1,000 feet to the west of Young Road and up to approximately 1,250 feet east of Young Road. Once again, this is in Slippery Rock Township. It is signed by Kyle Griffith of RAR Engineering, and we are receiving this notification as per state law. Mr. Sanada, do you have any questions or concerns?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Would you be willing to make a motion to allow us to accept this document?
I move that we accept this document from RAR Engineering.
I will second your motion, and we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Commissioner reports and comments. Chris, you get to go first today.
Well, thank you, Chairman. It actually, I think, was a very busy weekend in Lawrence County. I had the opportunity to attend multiple veteran events this weekend. Sunday multiple times. Many of our veteran organizations covering the county. And I, start off with, on Saturday, I had the opportunity to go to Pulaski Township for the New Bedford annual. That's the 128th. I think it is the oldest veterans program in the state, if not the country. It's great to see that community every year. And they start with the parade, Chief Morris and fire companies are there, and the program goes on. And I wasn't able to stay for the whole program because I had to come up here and join you, Chairman. And I'm sure you can elaborate on all you did up here, but we had the opportunity to have the traditional Newcastle Veterans Ceremony, annual ceremony at the courthouse, and then go down to the bridge for the Gettings Bridge dedication. Our ceremony up here went very well. The Gettings ceremony, we got a little bit wet, and it came down. But the ceremony went off. And I'd like to commend Jesse Putman, our veteran administrator. That all came together. And sometimes people don't realize how much goes into putting on one of these events. And I know, up here, she's been working on that for a couple months. And even the people in Pulaski and Mahoney Town, it's just, there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes to make these things happen. So I know Jesse put a lot of effort, so I want to acknowledge that. I'll let you talk more about what happened up here since you are a master of ceremonies. Then I had the opportunity on Saturday. I know, Chairman, you were out in Pulaski again representing the county. I was at Cascade Park for the Game Changers car show and their big annual event. But they moved it to Cascade Park this year, which I think was a good success. It was in the old Cascade Galleria parking lot last year. I attended. They invited me to come back this year. And Cascade Park is still a beautiful park. And when you see all the old cars that were out there, and they had a good showing for many car clubs there. And, hopefully they raise money for the Game Changers organization, which fights drugs. And we got to see our friends from Pathways there. So there was a lot of booths set up. Total, community-minded things, and to keep, it's basically about the drugs. We're going to do the best they can to provide help to people and educate people. So I think and weather was beautiful for that. And my last event was yesterday, right on Memorial Day, and it was down in Mahoney Town. And I've had the opportunity to do that probably since it started. I think Mary Rose Parada started that in the late '80s. That's when I used to be a congressional aide, Congressman Colgan. A lot of people don't realize I was from Mahoney Town originally. I moved to Union when I was 10. So I did live down Mahoney Town, and so I always would participate when they would have this, and I always read the General Logan's address, sometimes read the veterans. So Rose calls me every year, and I've had that opportunity. We were fortunate yesterday. It rained heavily in the morning. It stopped, and we were good. And they had a nice turnout down Mahoney Town with the Honor Guard and the Red Coat Band. So that tradition is still alive down there. And that's something that's important to me. So that's why I think this would be, that's the time to talk about the events over the weekend, just because it was important for our veterans that made the ultimate sacrifice. Memorial Day is about those who died. So I think it was good, and we tried to cover the county the best we can. And that's really all I have this week. So I'll let you do the rest.
Thank you. No, you were very, very busy, and you covered a lot of territory. And I might add, if you don't mind my saying, I believe you are planning to more than likely, if your schedule permits, go to Pittsburgh tomorrow.
Yes.
The Transportation Secretary, or Pennsylvania's Transportation Secretary, with whom you're acquainted.
Yes, I
served in the legislature with him. The Southwest Pennsylvania Planning Commission is having a meeting, and Commissioner Kennedy had intended to attend that meeting. He won't be able to, so Mr. Sonata graciously has stepped up to the plate, and you'll be representing us at that meeting tomorrow in Pittsburgh. So thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. And yes, it was a nice weekend when we took time to reflect on the men and women who gave their lives for this country. And the programs that I attended were all very well run, and a lot of people put a lot of time and effort into it. I appreciate your mentioning Jessie Putnam, because she's very instrumental in putting a lot of these programs together and working with the different veterans organizations. So felt bad for the Gettings family because of the rain and the lightning and the thunder, but they made it work. It worked. And in fact, Mr. Gettings was here in the building this morning, and I think he's appreciative as to what a nice turnout there was. And I know Debbie covered that. We all got a little bit wet, but it was okay. We all were able to dry off eventually. So, thank you. We move on to new resolutions, and we have 5 proposals from both CYS and juvenile probation. And Lisa, I always say Lisa Boots, and I'm sorry. Tell me your married name again.
Had
See, and it's just either it's my age or my bad memory, but I still say Lisa Boots. I hope you don't mind.
no offense.
Okay, thank you. And you've met Commissioner Sanada, I assume?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, can we walk through these? The first one is number 107, and this is the Central County's Youth Center based in Bellefonte, which is in Center County. Can you give us a little background on this one, please?
Sure, I'll just start by saying each one of these contracts would be a renewal contract from previous years. This first one is for a secure detention facility. I don't believe we've used them as of yet, but because of the shortage for secure detention and shelter beds across the state, we're kind of contracting with as many as we possibly can. Should the needs arise that we need to go out to that length of, as far as we need to go to be able to secure a bed. That
It's
is
about a 3-hour drive, I would imagine,
Yes.
to Bellefonte.
Yes, that's why we're requesting to be in contract with them at this time.
Okay. Mr. Sanada, do you have any concerns on this first proposal?
Sounds very thorough, so, yes.
What we can do, if you'd like, if you're agreeable, we can go through all 5 of these and then do a blanket motion, assuming we agree to all 5 of them. Are you okay with
I'm
doing
fine
that?
with that.
You
Yes.
okay with that, Vanessa? Okay, thank you. So that being said, resolution number 108 would be with Community Alternatives based in Union Township here in Lawrence County. And Lisa, I'll let you fill us in on that one.
Sure, this actually is funded under our evidence-based grant, under the needs-based budget. It has a higher reimbursement because it's an evidence-based program, so I believe it's a 90-10 reimbursement, 90 state, 10 county. This is for an in-home program called Nurturing Parenting Program that works intensely with families that require some additional assistance that have scored either a moderate or high level of risk when we run the YLS, which is our Youth Level of Service Assessment for Needs. So that's where our referrals would come from for that. Again, it's an in-home program that they actually go into each of the homes and work intensely individually with each family to help assist with any needs that are arised.
Very good, thank you. And I'll see if my colleague, Commissioner Sanada, has any questions.
Are we working with them now, Lisa?
Yes,
Yeah, that's what I figured. They've been around for a long time.
correct. We've had the Nurturing Parenting Program probably, I'm gonna say at least maybe 8 years, 9 years, more, maybe, it could even be more than that, because I've been here for too long.
Yeah, this sounds fine.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. The next one would be 109. And let me ask, before you even start talking about this one, it involves the County of Jefferson on behalf of the Jefferson County Juvenile Detention Center, Division of the Jefferson County Juvenile Court. Can you clarify if this is in Ohio or Pennsylvania?
This is in Ohio.
Okay,
This is also the same type of circumstance as a secure detention facility. Again, we've actually had to reach out beyond the state of Pennsylvania to be able to secure beds. So this facility is located in Ohio, and they have been very, very good working with us when the need arises.
I appreciate that. I'm wondering, assuming Mr. Sanada agrees, Vanessa, can we add a line in this resolution noting that this is Jefferson County, Ohio?
Sure.
Because there is a Jefferson County in Pennsylvania, so we don't want to have that confusion. Mr. Sanada, do you have questions?
Just one question, Lisa.
Yes.
When you say beds, that means,
So when we need to remove a child from the home, in essence, we need to have a place for that child to go to. So it would either be a shelter care bed, and in essence is what we're talking about. Each facility is licensed to be able to handle so many beds. So this would also be in that, that same regard as having a place for the juvenile to remain until they get processed through the court hearings, et cetera, and any potential recommendation for a placement facility is made. So this is shelter care and secure detention are only temporary.
So that's where they would stay, they would have a room.
Yes.
Okay. Because they used, I thought that's what it was, but I just want to clarify.
Sure.
Yeah, you say that, that's pretty
Yes.
much where they're going to be living until.
So we can get them processed through the courts and go for the next steps, yes.
All right, thank you.
Anything else, Chris? No. Okay, thank you. Proposed resolution 110 would be a contract, as you noted, a renewal with the Human Services Center, which is based here in the city of Newcastle. I'll let you fill us in on this one, please.
Sure, this was also out of our Act 148 funding through the needs-based budget. It would be an 80-20 reimbursement, 80% federal funding, and then, I'm sorry, state funding, and then 20% county funding. This is an in-home service that we contract with HSC for, focused on reintegration of our youth that have been removed from the home. So when we talk about having juveniles placed, we need to prepare that home for that child to come home to. So we start reintegration the day we remove the child, actually. So that worker is in the homes working with the families, preparing that home, assessing their needs, getting them services, with anything, so that that home is prepared for while the child is removed and the placement facility receiving services there. We are receiving services for the family in the home.
Makes sense to me. Commissioner Sanada?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. And then the last proposal that you have before us, number 111, would be a contract renewal with vocational and psychological services based in Butler, Pennsylvania, Butler County. I'll let you fill us in on this one, please.
This is a local service provided for us for after-school programming focused on those that are in need of academic tutoring, for those that could be at risk for academic failure. They work 2 nights a week, getting tutoring to the juveniles, also those that are at risk with truancy issues. Usually their academics suffer because of truancy. So we're helping to potentially get them caught up as best we can to, like I said, not have academic failure. So we want to have academic success with all of our youth. So this is also an 80-20 reimbursement out of our Act 148 funding.
Thank you, and I think you made the point. I'm glad you did. The company is based in Butler, but the services they offer are done here within the county borders.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Sanada, questions for Lisa? Fine. Well, Lisa has presented to us resolutions 107 up through and including 111. And Chris, if you'd like to make a motion to approve all 5 of those, that would be in order.
I would like to make a motion to approve all 5 from 107 to 111.
Thanks, Chris, and I will second your motion. Are there any other concerns you have for Lisa? It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Lisa, we always appreciate your joining us. Next time I will remember your current last name. I apologize.
Okay.
It's just my bad memory sometimes, but it's always nice to have you here. You're welcome to stick around, but if you have to head back, we understand.
I do. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Take care. Next item on the agenda, number 112, comes from the Voter Services Office. Mr. Germaini is on vacation, but Susan Kite was kind enough. Susan, if you'd like to come up, please. We appreciate your being here on relatively short notice, and we're not going to keep you long because this one's pretty simple, but we just needed you here in case there were any questions.
Sure.
Proposal number 112, and let me state it, and then if I either have left anything out or if I've misstated it, you can correct me. Mr. Germaini has been made aware that the opportunity has arisen for the county to apply for an additional grant to assist the Voter Services Office. And this application would actually, is this a federal grant to your knowledge? Something in the back of my mind tells me that he said this was a federal grant.
It could be involved, yeah.
Okay.
It's for a lot of federal elections.
That's what I thought. At first, I thought this goes to the state, but I'm looking this over, and from what I remember Tim telling me, this is a grant that will actually go to the federal government. And we have to obviously take action on it. So, Susan, do you have anything else to add about this proposed grant?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sonata, questions?
No, it sounds good to me if we can get additional money here to help with our elections. And, appreciate all your efforts, Susan, you and Tim, and your whole team.
Thank
We have a very efficient primary, and we're hoping for the same in the fall.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, to allow the Voter Services Office to move forward with making this application, may I have a motion then to approve proposed resolution 112?
I move that we approve resolution 112.
I will second your motion. And if there are no other comments, we can take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you very much. Susan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. I would imagine if I don't want to jump ahead of Debbie, but if Debbie, if you need to know more about the grant, I'm assuming they have information over there about it. Thank you. The next item on the agenda would be proposed resolution 113. And Rebecca Schaefer is with us from the planning office. It's always good to have you here, Rebecca. Number 113 involves the Community Development Block Grant Program, specifically for the Borough of Elwood City, their curb ramp improvement project. But could you give us some background on this, please?
Yes, we, of course, we administer the CDBG program for the Borough of Elwood City. And this is for our 2022 pot of money for CDBG. And they have come to us, with their project. Typically, it's a street improvement project, but in this instance, we want to improve the curb ramps in the area for mobility and sidewalks and stuff. So what we're requesting here is permission to run the ad. So that'll be June 3rd and June 10th, where we're in the ad. But that's what this is for.
And the ad will be to accept bids that will then move forward with the actual project itself. And I'm assuming that you've received notification, probably either from the borough secretary, the borough manager, I'm assuming on behalf of borough council. I'm assuming that it's borough council that identified how they'd like these dollars to be spent.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, yeah. We reach out every year, when the projects are, the actual award is due, usually in October. So the spring and the summer, we're in contact with the council, the manager, the road department. So yeah, what's their project? What do they want to do? So we take their direction from them.
I appreciate you noting that we serve as the administrative office, but it's in this case, the borough's decision as to how they want to direct these dollars. And we do this for Shenango Township and Union Township as well. Once again, we respect the wishes of their boards of supervisors, and then we just carry out the necessary paperwork, documentation.
Yeah.
Chris, do you have questions for Rebecca?
Oh, it sounds pretty straightforward, actually.
Thank you. May I have a motion for proposed resolution 113, please?
I move we support resolution 113.
I'll second your motion. If there are no other discussion points on this, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Proposed resolution 114 ties in with the planning office. Amy McKinney had come to us at least a year or so ago, recommending that we enter into an agreement with Delta Development Group based in Harrisburg, that office assists us in identifying grants and funding opportunities, and also assists us in communicating with both elected and appointed officials, primarily in Harrisburg, to advocate on behalf of grants and projects that we may have applied for. I believe Mrs. McKinney is requesting or recommending that we extend the current contract with them by 6 months. But Rebecca, I'll turn it over to you to see if you have more detail.
I know, you probably hit everything. All I know really is that it's a 6-month extension.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't typically work with Delta, but Amy just said, well, since I was here,
That's
I can
fine.
handle it. And it's basically run through the commissioners.
Mhm.
Is your permission to allow us to use this.
Right.
And they are, very helpful in securing and working on implementing the grants and.
I know there are some other counties in western Pennsylvania that utilize their services as well. I know for a fact that Clarion County does. And I can't recall, does Mercer? For some reason, I think Mercer does, but
Right.
don't hold me to that.
Or they're getting into a contract. with
Yeah,
them.
I'm certain that Clarion is. I remember having a conversation with one of their commissioners. And there are other counties as well. So the request is for a 6-month extension. Let me see if Mr. Sonata has questions or concerns.
I think that that's very reasonable. Projects hopefully come to fruition and, so I think 6 months is a reasonable.
Would you be willing to make a motion for Resolution 114, please?
Yeah, I move that we support Resolution 114 for a 6-month extension.
I'll second your motion, Chris. And if there are no other concerns, we can take a roll call.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Well, Rebecca, we appreciate your being here.
I appreciate you,
You take care, and probably, I'm guessing you have to head back to your office. Okay, have a great day.
Yeah, you want me to call Jason about this? On it as well.
Yeah, if perhaps he's upstairs, that might not hurt. So let's stand in a brief recess. Debbie, we have a proposal in front of us, which would amend, or actually enter into a memorandum of understanding between the county and one of our unions, specifically AFSCME Local 964, as it relates to the CYS office. And we're hoping that Mr. Bout or one of his representatives would be here today to discuss this matter with us. I'm hoping he's all right, but as you heard, Vanessa's going to see if perhaps our solicitor, if he's in the building, might be able to come down. If not, I'd prefer we table it,
Absolutely.
unless you want to move forward, but I'd rather table it till
I
we.
think we need to have Mr. Bott here give us the explanation, as transparent as we can be.
Is this a new bargaining agreement?
No, it's a memorandum of understanding between the county and the union. Basically, in a nutshell, the CYS office has received federal funds that are permitted to be used for both retention and new hire incentives. And it would allow that office to take these federal dollars and use it. One would be for a one-time retention incentive payment to those currently working in that office. And then there would also be a proposed new hire incentive for new employees. And it's spelled out here, and it's part of the packet which we'll be giving to you.
Is there amount listed?
Yes, for those currently employed in the union, they would receive a one-time retention incentive payment of $2,000 to be paid on or before June 28 of this year. One of the reasons we're taking action this month, or I should say either May or in early June, is these federal dollars expire at the end of June.
Jason's on his way down.
Oh, okay, good. Well, let me stop right there so we don't have to repeat ourselves.
Do you
And
know how many employees it, okay?
I don't know the number, however, it would affect however many there are in the union. And I don't know that number. That's why I was hoping Mr. Blount would be here. Now, I have, again, you'll get a copy of the MOU, and hopefully Mr. Medor, Attorney Medor, will answer our questions satisfactorily enough that we can move on this today. Otherwise, we would have to table it. Here he comes. Hello, Counselor.
Hi,
Would you mind joining us? We appreciate your coming down on such extremely short notice.
no problem.
We have before us the proposed memorandum of understanding between the county and AFSCME Local 964 specific to the union employees at CYS. This is the retention incentive and the new hire incentive. And I'm going to loan you the MOU so that you can refer to it. We were hoping that Mr. Bout would be here today, and we tried calling him and we couldn't track him down. One option we were thinking of was simply tabling it until next week, but then we thought, well, you were involved in this a little bit. Maybe you can give us some specifics. And I guess if it's to our satisfaction, we can probably go ahead and approve it.
Okay.
I pointed out to Debbie that these are federal dollars that need to be earmarked by the end of June, as I recall.
That's correct.
Okay, let me turn it over to you if you wouldn't mind filling us in a little bit.
That's all correct. There was a federal grant that CYS received. It's called from the Family First Transition Act. It's one-time grant money, and it could only be used for something related to employment, retention, hiring incentives. So this money must be spent by June 30th. This is, as I said, a one-time thing. There is not going to be any expectation to receive this grant in future years, which is why we went with a memorandum of understanding as opposed to a change in the AFSCME collective bargaining agreement. This is non-precedent setting, and this is only applicable to CYS employees. It cannot be applicable to all AFSCME employees. So we presented this incentive to the AFSCME representatives. They spoke with their union about it. The union passed this MOU and signed it, and now it's up to the commissioners to decide to also sign it. And the controller's office will get these payments out.
My understanding is that many, many counties in Pennsylvania are faced with challenge of attracting and keeping particularly caseworkers. And in my discussions, and I'm sure Chris as well, with other commissioners from around the Commonwealth, this is a real problem and a real challenge. And I believe Mr. Bout advised me that other counties are utilizing these dollars in the same format that is being proposed to us today. This is not unique to Lawrence County.
You're right. It's
Okay.
not unique to Lawrence County because it's one-time dollars. There are a lot of retention incentives or hiring incentives that are being given out. There are other ways that you could use these dollars, none of which would really aid the problem that we and other counties are facing in terms of a dearth of hiring opportunities. It's a hard job. It takes a certain demeanor of person to do this job, and it takes a certain skill set to actually stay in the job. That's why CYS typically has a higher turnover than other county departments. So it's nice to have the money. We definitely want to utilize the money, but it's essentially a Band-Aid.
Well, and again, this is a challenge that is statewide for the most part. Now, I'm aware of a couple of counties that are doing well financially that say, well, we really don't have a problem, but they are in the minority by far. Many, many counties are struggling to attract and keep, particularly caseworkers, given what a challenging position that is. I'm going to see if Mr. Sonata has questions.
I think you made points, Chairman. I think we've had this discussion, in the past because it's so critical. It's such a critical agency, and we need to retain employees, which we have. And we were at the kind of Commission Association meeting. It's, as you said, it's happening in every county, and they're losing employees to other agencies. And it's so vital that these, and we commend the workers that we have, but it's putting a lot of strain on the workers that are there, dedicated, and doing what they're supposed to do. So if this could alleviate the problem, and other counties are doing it from what we were told, and it's been successful, and just to show them we appreciate their efforts because, we've had a chance to tour it and talk to some of them, and it's not a job for anybody, you have, like you said, Counselor, you have to be a special type of person in order to do this type of work. And that's what makes it more difficult, because people are knocking the doors down at the courthouse applying for these jobs. It takes a special person. It's like a nurse. It's like, those type of people. It's special. So I think this is a good program, and it can be helpful. I think we should support it.
Before you came in, Ms. Walker was curious as to, and I don't know the answer to this, we'd have to check in HR, but do you happen to know how many union employees are employed at CYS? Off the top of my head, I don't know that number.
I didn't know this. Let me think for a second. I honestly, I can't recall at this point. I did have those numbers in front of me just last week, but there's a differentiation between union members and voting union members, so I can't remember the exact number.
Our HR department would be able to get you that number, Debbie.
I mean, at the very least, you're talking right now, we're budgeted for, I think, 21 caseworkers, and I think we're running it somewhere around 18 or 19. We've got 5 caseworker supervisors, which I think we're running at 4 right now. Those are all union positions. We have 2 fiscal operators. Those are union positions. And then we have a couple of call screeners, a couple of intake.
So now you're above 30, I think.
Yeah, those are all, every one of those people that I mentioned are all union.
Okay.
They're all within the ASME union.
So at least 30, but HR would have the exact number.
Do you know how much the total grant was?
I don't know the exact number. I don't know the exact number.
I thought it was some, and this is ballpark, my recollection, this is very, very general, somewhere between 100 and 200,000, somewhere in that
I
range.
thought it was like 150,000.
Okay, that's the best I can give you, Debbie. It was somewhere in that ballpark. That's why I was hoping Mr. Bout would be here. If we vote on this today, I will be giving Debbie the MOU. It's part of the packet, so it's a public document, so we'll give her the MOU.
Right, and there are requirements associated with the incentive. If it's the new hire incentive, you need to work a particular period of time in order to receive the money.
Debbie, do you have other questions?
Will that use up the whole grant, or are there other uses for it?
My understanding is we're devoting the entire grant to this process.
We are.
Although, was Mr. Bout setting some of that aside for non-union employees? I thought maybe he was looking at that. Do you recall him talking about that?
Yes, it's for all CYS employees. There are several non-union employees, and they will also receive the same retention incentive and the new hire incentive.
For the non-union folks, will that necessitate salary board action?
That is the expectation.
Okay. So what we're talking about today specifically are the union employees at CYS. So the expectation is that Mr. Bout may be approaching salary board as it relates to the non-union employees and utilization of these dollars. So again, we have until the end of June to put this all together. Is that
That's
correct? Okay. So I look for that to happen.
I have one more question.
Sure.
How does it work for the new hires?
You have it in front of you.
Yeah, the first 6 new employees hired after May 1st will receive a new hire incentive of $2,000. And it'll be paid in installments of $400 after the first 90 days. The second installment will be $400 after 180 days. The third installment will be $600 after 270 days of employment, and the fourth will be $600 to be paid after their 1-year employment anniversary.
And that's in the document you'll be getting, Debbie.
It is.
Anything else, Debbie?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Sanada?
I mean, you did very straightforward. I think it's something that I hopefully will help somewhat keep the employees and keep these new ones working.
From where you sit, are you comfortable with us taking action today?
I am. I would recommend it.
Okay. I put a lot of stock in that. I appreciate. And again, I want to reemphasize, this is not unique to Lawrence County. What we understand, this is happening in other counties in the Commonwealth.
I just echo what you said, Chairman. This subject has come up in many meetings in the last few months. Two other commissioners, they're having the same issues we are here, retaining employees. So.
Well, based on the information we've received and based on the recommendation of the solicitor, assuming your questions have been answered.
Yes.
And I believe, given all of that, I could entertain a motion for us to approve proposed resolution 115.
Yeah, I would like to see this process moved along quickly and then make a motion to approve that resolution.
Thank you. I will second your motion, Chris. Counselor, anything else on this matter?
No, sir.
Debbie, anything else you'd like to know?
No, thank you.
Debbie, feel free if you want to reach out to Mr. Bout. I'm sure he can fill in some of the details if you need them. And, well, that being said, we have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Jason, it's very kind of you to come down
No
at
problem.
such short notice.
No problem.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks.
You take care.
All right, you too. I'll see you guys upstairs. All right.
Before we move on, Brian, good morning and
Morning.
welcome.
Yes, I just happened to be in the building and I knew Mr. Kennedy wasn't here to stir things up, so I figured I might as well stop in, lend a hand in case you needed it. So,
We've noted that he's on medical leave right now. We miss him terribly.
I called him on my way down just to see if he had anything to say, but he was asleep.
Oh, okay.
I spoke with Debbie and his healing is doing good. He's getting better as things are going, but it's mental, him laying around, it's not good for him at all. So I stayed away from him over the weekend, but I will be out there tomorrow afternoon when I get done work. Just razz him and get him moving again.
Well, a lot of people are thinking of him down here. We miss him,
Yes.
but we also want him to get better and feel better.
Right, and it's gonna take some time, and that's what, prayer is what we need for him, and that's
Exactly.
what
Right,
we're.
best. Tell them we wish him the best, and I had an opportunity to speak to him on Friday. I just sent him a text wishing well, and next thing I do, I get a phone call.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
Yes,
And he calls me up, and he said he was getting stronger, but
he is. Debbie takes him in the back seat of the car and takes him for rides a little bit, so he's been over to the township building a couple of times to visit.
my message to him is we're fine up here. Just get yourself 100% and don't
Yes.
worry about things because we know how Dan runs.
Yes,
He gets himself
too much.
all worked up.
Yeah.
But now, like I said, we appreciate you stopping by, just pass that on to us because
When he does get back, we're all going to be like mother hens.
That's
We're
what,
going to make sure he.
yeah, but we can't baby him.
You're very welcome to stay. We've got a number of budget transfers to make.
I looked it through and I'm gonna take off. I do have some other important stuff to do, so I'm gonna get some paperwork done. Thank you both very much, Debbie. Thank you.
Certainly. Brian, thanks for stopping in.
Have a great
Give
day.
our best to Dan.
Yeah.
I will.
See you, Brian.
Take care. We have some transfers, and as we normally do, Chris, I'll go through them. Stop me at any point if you have any questions. The coroner's office is requesting a $10,000 transfer from their contingency into their Act 182 vehicle line item, and that's to assist with the purchase of a vehicle for their office. Children and Youth Services is asking for a $300 transfer from contracted provider care line item into that of minor equipment. District Judge Nicholson's office is requesting a $2,500 transfer from their travel and training line item into that of equipment maintenance and repair to cover the expense of equipment. To cover the expense of equipment upgrade, installation of an Ethernet line relating to upgrading credit card machine used in this office, upgrade of router, firewall, wireless, and switch upgrade. Once again, that's $2,500. The jail is asking for $170 to come out of their contingency into that of equipment lease. The Voter Services Office is asking for a $22,000 transfer from their contingency into that of their line item of security and transparency. This is to pay for the new mail-in envelopes for the 2024 primary, and I might note those were state mandated mail-in envelopes. It necessitated, since we were not permitted to use any of the old envelopes, which I guess Tim had a supply of, the state said, nope, can't use the old ones anymore. You gotta go out and buy all new ones. So we have to do what the state tells us to do. Adult probation is asking for, this is coming from their contingency, $500 into their drug testing line item, and then $39.40 into their community service line item. It's community service insurance line item. So the total request transfer is $539.40. Chris, do you have any concerns or questions about any of these?
No, they're all straightforward. I make a motion we accept them.
Thank you. I second your motion. Assuming you have no questions, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. We drop all the way down to announcements. The commissioners will meet once again a week from today, Tuesday, June 4 at 10 o'clock in this room, open to the public. I have a note here that the Lawrence County Opioid Advisory Committee board meeting, which normally would take place on June 4, has been canceled. Speaking of meetings, and it's not listed on here, but I will note that West Central Job Partnership, and we serve, three of us serve with our three Mercer County colleagues, Mercer County commissioners. They will be having a special meeting on Tuesday, June 11 at 2 p.m. Or is it 2:30? It might be at 2:30. I wrote down 2, but
I think it's 2:30.
I think it's 2:30, so I stand corrected. And that will be by Zoom only. But Debbie, I may have already sent you the link, but if I didn't, I will. I believe they just have one agenda item they want to talk about that day. And it'll be up to them to put the legal ad in the paper. They handle that. And then finally, I want to announce for the second time that we have an opening on the Lawrence County Airport Authority. The current incumbent member, I believe that's Mr. Hake,
Yes.
is eligible to be reappointed, and he has submitted a letter of interest to be reappointed. But we are obligated by an ordinance that requires us to announce this opening at 2 public meetings. We announced it the previous meeting back on
Last
what
Friday.
Friday that was.
Yep.
So this is the second announcement, and anyone wishing to be considered to serve on the authority could please communicate with us as soon as possible. But I do want to note that Mr. Hake has already done that. He expressed a desire to continue to serve. Let me open the floor for public comments or questions. Debbie, anything?
Is that Joe Hay?
I believe it is, yes.
You know how long he's been on the board?
I don't know offhand, but if you come upstairs, I can find it for you.
So how long is the new term?
The new term is 5 years.
5.
But if you come up, I can get you
Okay.
years of
It's
service.
been a long time.
It has been.
Airport's unique. Most of our appointments are at the beginning of the year. And for some reason, airport's kind of the middle of the year. I don't know, there must be some reason for that. But Debbie, any other questions? Again, I'll give you my packet here when we're done. Commissioner Sanada, do you have any closing comments or concerns?
No, I think everything was straightforward.
Thank you, sir. Vanessa, anything maybe we've forgotten or overlooked?
No, we're good.
Thanks for your help in trying to track everybody down today.
No problem.
And it was successful, so thank you.
You're welcome.
We're always remiss in not thanking the gentleman from our IT department who always come in and turn us on and turn us off. And we appreciate that. May I have an adjournment motion?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second your motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye, opposed, the same sign. The motion to adjourn is carried. Thank you, everybody. And Bill will turn the computer